Hey everybody, so today I'm here to share with you guys this super easy s'mores crispy bar recipe. This is something that you guys noticed from my Thanksgiving grocery haul, and I knew from all the feedback I had to make this video for you guys. This recipe is perfect for the holidays because it's so easy to make, perfect for this holiday time. But let's just go ahead and jump in and I'll show you guys what you will be needing for this recipe. So these are all the ingredients you're going to need right here. The first thing that you're going to need is 7 ounces of a frozen chocolate bar. Now, you don't have to use frozen, but you'll see later why that really counts. I just went with Hershey's because that's what my store had, but you can use whatever brand you'd like. And then you are going to need 5 cups of graham cereal. I'm using Golden Grahams, but you want to go ahead and set those aside because when we get making this, it's going to move quickly and it's easier this way. And then you're also going to need 10 ounces of marshmallows. You want to stick with the mini marshmallows and try to set 1 cup aside. I forgot to do this in showing you guys, but it does make things easier and nicer looking. And then lastly, you need 3 tablespoons of salted butter. Last thing before we get started, you also want to grease a 13 by 9 baking pan. I prefer butter to grease my pans. I feel like it's the easiest to get the sticky treats out, and you can just go ahead and set this aside. All these little steps beforehand will really help whenever we get started because, like I said, things move quick. So you'll want a really big pot. At first, you're just going to have some butter and marshmallow in there, and there's not going to be a ton going on, but eventually there will be. You want to turn your burner on medium heat and then go ahead and stick your 3 tablespoons of butter in there. You want to make sure to keep an eye on it, scrape down the sides, make sure you're scraping the bottom of the pan every once in a while. You'll see at the end of this that I actually didn't pay attention to mine well enough because I had some distractions in my kitchen, but it all tastes the same and it tasted great as it normally does. But I did speed up this process of my butter melting so you guys didn't have to watch 10 minutes of that. But like I said, just occasionally scrape down the sides of your bowl and, melt your butter. This is really where I should have been scraping my bowl, but like I said, I had some distractions, so I hadn't been. But eventually I get to it, see that my butter is all completely melted, and then as soon as you want to give it just one last good scrape on the sides, you're going to go ahead and mix in your marshmallows, except for that 1 cup that I suggested you set aside for appearances. And you're just going to want to make sure that the butter is getting all over the marshmallows. And at first, it's going to look like you might not have enough butter. It's just going to be kind of odd looking, honestly. But you want to also turn your heat down to medium low because we're not trying to cook these marshmallows the way we were trying to melt that butter. But I kind of flatten mine and then I kind of go do something for a few minutes. I'll come back, I'll scrape it all down, and you can see here that the more you work it, the more that the marshmallows and the butter come together. And when I can see that happening, the less and less it's sticking to my spoon. That's more of what you want. So you'll see here, right after I give it this turn, it's becoming more of like a fluff, and it's hardly sticking to my spoon at all. So then I'm going to give it one last good turn, make sure I'm getting everything that I can off the pan, and then I flatten it a bit, and I'm going to add in my cereal. And this is why it just makes things super simple if you have it measured out beforehand. You want to quickly turn off the heat and remove your pot from heat. Now I underestimated keeping all this in frame, so I'm trying to hold up my pan away from the heat while also showing you guys and keeping it in frame. You just want to try and coat these cereal pieces the best you can, and you want to try and work quickly because since it's not on heat anymore, it's going to start cooling down and fast. And right after this turn, I noticed that my pieces are all pretty much coated, so that's when I grab my chocolate. This is why I like using frozen chocolate opposed to room temp or refrigerated, because I have done that in the past. I found too many pieces just melted into the recipe, which is fine, but at the same time, for appearances, I think it looks a little cuter with chunks of chocolate. So you're just going to want to mix that in, and if you had set aside that cup of other marshmallows, you can toss those in as well, because they're not going to melt down like the other ones did. And you really only have like a minute or so to really work this together. You can see I'm starting to struggle with moving it around my pan, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in that greased baking pan. And I really underestimated how quickly everything moved and needing to film it all. So I'm trying to do my best here, but you just want to go ahead and obviously scoop it all into this pan. You are going to have to work some of those pieces on the side and on the bottom out, and that's what I'm doing right here. But just try to get as much as you can. Because of how sticky this dessert is, there's always going to be a little bit extra left in the pan. Just help yourself later. But you can see I start to go ahead and press this into the greased pan. And at first I'm just trying to get it all distributed in the pan, but you're going to see I start really trying to pack it in together with this recipe because it's cereal that's kind of oddly shaped and you have those chunks of chocolate. You really want to make sure that they're all connecting, because the more they're connected to each other, the less holes you're going to have, the better it's going to hold up when you cut it and all that kind of stuff. So you can see I'm just really trying to pack it down and together. And now I just kind of want to give you guys a close-up. It'd be even cuter with that cup of marshmallows that I told you to set aside, but this is generally what it looks like. And basically you're just going to want to go ahead and cover this and put it in your refrigerator. You can use whatever you have on hand to cover it. I used aluminum foil. You want to leave it in your refrigerator for at least an hour. That's what I did for this recipe for the sake of being able to show you guys what it looked like with the finished product and not being too late at night. And it was fine, but the optimal amount of time would be more around 2 to 3 hours in your refrigerator. Then you can take them out and cut them and you'll have something that looks like this. Now I really prefer to cut mine and then I'll put them in the freezer until I'm ready to leave and go wherever I'm going and pull them out. And by the time you get to where you're going, as long as it's not just the next house over, they're going to be thawed by the time anybody is going to be eating. I've found that doing that, they hold together a lot better and they're also a lot less messy to eat. But yeah, that's really all there is to it, to this really simple and easy dessert. I want to make sure to show you guys for this upcoming holiday. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.